individuality and ideologies is what rule the world. Because we have become completely blind. We have lost all our senses to follow what others say. And a living proof of that is the AI. When we started using the AI, we have seen a pattern. We have seen how students are getting worse marks, how people are losing its memory, how people are delegating tasks and don't even look at the result of it. And what is happening is that we are building a world without criteria, a world where everyone follows blindly what you are told. And this can have detrimental problems. And I want to do a comparison with the book The Plague of Albert Camus, and we're going to see how the world has been shaped nowadays, and this book offers us a cure to treat its illness. When we see how people treat other people, we're seeing that society has become so individual. We no longer care about our neighborhood, about our families, about our friends. We only care about ourselves. And a living proof of that is social media. In social media, we only care to post the best looks of ourselves. We want to put the best pictures of ourselves. We want to present us to the world the best as we can. And what this has done psychologically is that we have become so prompt to let general problems or problems of the rest apart and only care about ourselves. Instead of fighting against the problems of the world, we have become so self-obsessed about our minuscule problems that we no longer care about combating the evil around the world. And while reading this story, I have found two ways that people can live with the evil that surrounds us in the world. First, we have people who fight with the plague, people who fight with the ideologies that end up controlling the masses or causing hard killings in the world. For example, we have here people that doesn't have, I wouldn't say the knowledge, but the conscience about what is occurring, the consequences of accepting the evil. Because much of the problems that surround us today, we can treat them in two ways. We can think that they are not there. For example, the war on Ukraine or the Palestine problem, we can think, oh, it's so far away, so why should I care about that? And there is other people that because of ignorance or not wanting to do the search necessary to understand the problem, end up buying the first opinion they hear. If they hear that Ukraine is bad or that the Russians are bad, they end up supporting one of the two sides without knowing anything and blindly following what they have heard. And they think they are fighting against the problem, but instead they are supporting it because they are giving strength or support to one of the sides and not giving strength to ending the problem. And here we have the other side, people who try to fight against the injustice of the world, people who don't surrender to what is happening. And this story, when talks about the plague that occurred in a city in Algeria, is a reflection of how in the World War II France was conquered. So we have the Nazi invasion, and people in France had their government substituted by the provisional government of Vichy, of France. Some of the people treated like they had to accept it, it was what they deserved, and instead of making la resistance to try to fight the Nazi occupation, they surrendered completely to it and didn't want any problem. And they didn't take into consideration the consequences of this invasion, how their kids would grow up, what would happen to, I don't know, to the families that were supporting the other side. They only cared about themselves and their security. But we had also the La Resistance that I commented, that people who saw how the evil conquered France like a plague ended up finalizing all this French culture. It was a hazard to the French culture. So instead of accepting the situation, they try to fight against it. But we should not see them as heroes, because the human has always been prone to do more good than evil, but only when it has the knowledge. People who surrender and are not cowards are people who don't have the knowledge necessary to see all the consequences of the evil that has invaded them. And people who act are not completely people who have higher moral standards. It is not people that is better than others. It's people who have human decency, because that's what humans we are about. We should fight against the injustice. We should not let others starve to death or die because of our commodity, because of our security. Human decency is when you see someone that is scared and you try to help him, to not only care about oneself, about our individual self, but instead to see the world as a place that we are given and we are sharing, and we should all have the same opportunities. And with this phrase, I want to comment a passage of the book when the doctor, he doesn't call him a hero. He only calls him a mere spectator that gives more opportunities to lives. And doctors, in the time of the plague, only injected a serum to try to combat this illness. And the doctor didn't think he was a complete savior. He thought about a spectator that gave more chances to living, gave opportunity to others to live. He didn't want people to die, but he couldn't do anything about it. He only injected like the serum and prayed for something to happen. And sometimes it didn't happen, people died, but other times this medicine gave people the chance to survive, the good luck, because how can the world or yourself expect to have opportunities or good luck if we don't even try? If we surrender completely, how can we expect that something happens? If we don't act, how can we expect that the problem ends? That is why I want to be more active in life. I don't want to be staying passive and think what others have thought. I want to have my own reflections and to act in the world and not be expecting the opportunities to happen. Because when you don't even try, you end up in the same point that you are, and you only react to events. But when you intend, when you go to make the world a better place, there are more chances that the world will become a good place to live.